Hey-ho Leeds, hope you're all holding up. On this episode of the Coronavirus Extraordinary Series, Anna Turzynski remoted in to tell me about the Compass Festival and the Young Producer Scheme which people aged 18 to 24 can apply for. The deadline is the 5th of June and links can be found in the podcast notes. Have a little listen to Anna and I. Welcome to another Coronavirus Extraordinary episode of Light on Leeds podcast. And today we've got remoting in Anna Turzynski. Hello Anna.
Hiya, hi Hazel, how are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, not bad today.
Oh, good. So Anna, you've come along to tell me a little bit about Compass Festival.
I have indeed, yes. I know it's a bit strange thinking about a festival when we're all locked down in our houses, but we were supposed to be doing a big event as part of Leeds International Festival that would have started yesterday. Oh. So it felt like a good time to come on and talk a little bit about the festival that we've got planned for later in the year, hopefully, fingers crossed. And also tell you a little bit about an event or an opportunity that we've just launched called Compass Young Producers. So, yeah. Should
Fantastic.
Be nice.
So how would you describe Compass Festival?
Oh, where to start? So Compass Festival happens every 2 years and it happens in Leeds. It's an art festival that is specifically interested in something called live art and socially engaged practice, which sounds super fancy, but essentially what that means is that we try and program work that happens outside of art galleries and theatres and actually takes place in public. So we make work that could happen in pubs or post offices or, I don't know, the street, train stations, libraries, anywhere where everyone's allowed, basically.
Yeah.
And we're really interested in that art being activated by audiences. So it would basically not function if someone didn't come and make it work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the audience in some way have to, activate the artwork.
So it's not a festival in the sense of it's in one place. It's a festival everywhere.
Exactly, yeah. So we don't have a big site like Leeds Fest as a music festival. We use the city as kind of our canvas and then we place works across the city. And it takes place across 10 days. So, it's not going on for forever. But yeah, we really try and animate the city across those 10 days with lots of different artworks that you just stumble upon. And they're all free. They're all, we like to think quite easy to get involved with and understand so that it doesn't feel too fancy or like you have to have a fine art degree to understand it. It's just, really easy for people to get involved with.
So the idea is that people who may not go and visit an art gallery or get involved in sort of institutions, it's sort of giving them another way into art, really. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I personally came and discovered Compass when I was just leaving university and I studied theatre and performance at Leeds Uni and I really loved it. But when I graduated, I was feeling a bit like, I didn't know what to do with my life. And, you have to make that horrible decision about what career you want for the rest of your life. And I was going to see a lot of plays and I thought, I don't really want to write a play and I don't really understand why we should always be sat in a theatre watching things. And then I started reading about Compass Festival and actually attended one of the first versions they did of the festival. And it just blew my mind because, it was making, it was playing into people's natural curiosity. So the works were celebrating architecture and the way people used space and thinking about how the world around us works in different ways, which is what, theatre does in a theatre building and what visual art does in an art gallery. But all of a sudden it was just placed right in front of me. And it was like, it felt like such a gift. It was a real treasure that you feel like you stumbled upon something that was really playful and really was kind of celebrating the way in which we use public spaces. So it felt like a real novelty, I guess, when I had just graduated and was asking all these big existential questions.
And it was just exactly the same sort of questions that you were asking anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And so how did you get involved in organising it and being part of it?
So, as I said, I came across Compass when I had just graduated and they had just put about this scheme called the Compass Young Producers. So I applied and luckily got an interview and remember being unbelievably nervous. Like, I think your first job interview is one up there with one of the most nerve-wracking things you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really lucky and got a position on the Young Producers Scheme, which was all about educating the next generation of people who were going to be organizing these festivals and, programming work and trying to get young people into the sector. Because, I don't know, it's infamously quite difficult to get involved in the arts because, you may have to already have a bit of money behind you because you have to do some voluntary work to get in, or, just not knowing what jobs you could do. I mean, I had no idea what a producer was when I left uni. I knew that I was organized and I loved working with artists and that, sometimes you have a natural flair for leadership and stuff like that. Yeah. Some may call it bossy, not me. So yeah, it felt like a really nice doorway, I guess, into the industry, which was really exciting at the time because there wasn't many of them. So it was really amazing. So I did Young Producers and then have been, freelance theatre producer ever since, which is pretty amazing considering that the kind of narrative that you hear is that there aren't any jobs in the arts and it's really difficult to break in and all of that. But it's actually made for a really exciting career. And I feel so lucky that I get to do something I love on a daily basis.
Oh,
and
that's fabulous.
Yeah, no 2 days are the same as well, which I think is all I wanted when I left uni. I said, I just want to make sure that I have a job that means that I don't have to do the same thing twice.
Perfect. And so for anybody who doesn't know, and also to help me as well, how would you describe the role of a producer?
That is such a great question and one that I get asked a lot. I think my answer is always different. But the main thing to think of it is as a facilitator. So an artist may come to me and say, oh, I want to create this piece of work. This is my idea. This is my concept. And it would be my job to make that a reality. So making sure that we've got money to do it, that we can pay other creatives and collaborators, making sure that you're safe doing it. So whether you need licenses or permissions and risk assessments, thinking about the context in which that work is being presented and whether we need to bring on any other partners or supporters to the work. And it's really just trying to take, what could be quite an abstract concept and making it into a reality. That's how I think about it.
That's great. That sounds like a brilliant role to have and to get involved with.
It's really fun, especially with a festival, because it's like trying to plan this amazing event with loads of different artists going on all around the city. And it's a real fun, it's like a jigsaw puzzle that you have to kind of work out what fits where. And it's really fun.
Oh, great. And you have a Young Producers Scheme that you're launching. Is it today that you're launching this?
We launched it yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So people can now apply to be one of 3 young producers that we're going to be working with across the next year to produce the festival. And it closes on the 5th of June. So people have about a month to apply. And I'd really recommend that, any young person, whether they're between the ages of 18 and 24, if you've just graduated, if you're just about to graduate, or even if you're just leaving college and you're wanting to look for something slightly different, I'd really recommend that you get in touch and apply because, there's such an amazing world out there, when it comes to the arts and art festivals, thinking of Edinburgh Fringe and I'm in Bristol and, the Brighton Fringe. And there's so many amazing opportunities to work with artists and to bring work to different exciting spaces. And this could be a really amazing step in. And I think it's particularly important now, given, the COVID-19 situation and how much pressure is being put on the artistic sector to think about, the future generations of people who are going to be pushing this sector into a new place, because we really need the future to think about right now because it's a difficult time for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And so is it just one person who would get onto the schemes? Are there a few places for people?
We're looking for 3. So when I did it, we had 6 of us doing it at once. But this year we've kind of concentrated it down to 3 individuals who will work with us, from the end of the summer through to the festival. So, yeah.
And so they'll be working alongside you and learning as they go and that's how they train.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a learn by doing situation. So we throw you in at the deep end, and you'll help produce pieces for the festival. We'll give you specific training on things like budgeting and fundraising, and kind of just open the doors and show you how the festival works, so that you can get that real world experience. Which, it's impossible to get. It's such a catch-22, isn't it? When you're trying to get some experience, but you need experience to get that experience. So
there's a lot of things that are like that, aren't there?
Yeah.
And how would people apply?
So if you go to Compass Live Arts website, it's all the information's on there. There's a form that you can fill out, or it's on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well. You can find the links on there.
And it must be quite nice for you and anyone else who's sort of on the panel to look at these applications and see sort of what's out there in Leeds, is it?
I'm so looking forward to it. I feel like we all need a bit of good news at the moment. So I'm hoping that there are some really incredible people who, have an exciting idea of what the arts sector could look like post-COVID-19. And it'd be a nice distraction, especially for me, because I've done it before, to see people who, were me a couple of years ago. I think it's going to be really fun, really nice.
Sort of coming round full circle, really.
I know, it makes me very nostalgic.
And has there been an awful lot of work that went into the Compass Festival that unfortunately you've had to sort of leave for another time because of all of this?
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. And I think it's funny because we're a small independent arts festival. We're obviously not key workers or essential workers. And we've been trying where possible to, keep reminding ourselves of that there are some people who are facing much more difficult and, emergency situations than we are. But it has been really heartbreaking, actually, to have to kind of unpick all of the stitches that we've been sewing to make the festival work and reimagine them in light of what's going on. But it's a great way of refocusing and, thinking about what's really important to us as a festival. And we're lucky that we're working with some incredible artists to make the next edition who have been really, really generous and supportive. So we feel really lucky and just trying to stay positive where we can. Don't know if you're the same.
yeah, exactly the same. You just got to try and, the same as you, I'm fully aware that there's a myriad of people who are in different and more difficult situations than I am. But for me personally, I don't struggle too much. I can imagine it's going to get stayed eventually. But at the moment, it's just like a nice period of self-reflection for me, really. And and I've been able to carry on with the podcast, which is fantastic.
Yay.
So I feel like I'm a really lucky person because obviously you get to speak to your family and things all the time and your friends. But then every Friday I get to speak to usually a person I've not met before, such as yourself. And it's great to hear positive stories, especially at this time. People are still working really hard and thinking about the future. And that helps me stay positive.
That's great. You've got to, don't you? It's the only thing that keeps me going is thinking about how important things like the festival and the work that we do will be when we come out of isolation, and thinking about how people will want to be in public space and meet strangers and be curious in the way that you're describing. I think, that's what keeps us going, really. Otherwise, it would all be a bit much.
And I think as well, it's difficult for now, but the sort of the joy that we're all going to get when we're all finally released. I think it'll, you're just going to want to get involved with more things, and, you won't be taking for granted the sort of, the time out. And for me personally, I was like, oh my God, I've got 1 million people I want to go and meet and things that I want to go and do. And I'm looking forward to that side of it.
It's the pub for me. I will never take the pub for granted again. I just cannot wait to sit in a beer garden and have a pint and just be at the bar with loads of people you don't know. I think that is something I was definitely taking for granted before all of this happened.
I think there's lots of things that we're all going to just feel so grateful for. Have you always lived in Leeds, Anna?
I haven't, no. You might have guessed from my accent that I'm actually a secret southerner. But I grew up in Brighton and moved up here for uni, but I've been here for about 8 years now, so I'm almost an honorary northerner. And I love Leeds. I'm locked down right in the city centre because I live kind of on the hedgerow, which is really odd in a time like this because it's so quiet, it's wild. But I love Leeds. I can't think of a good reason to leave it. The people here are amazing. Obviously the work that I get to do is a dream come true, and it's a really generous city for making this kind of work. And there's a real hunger for it. Every time we put a festival on, people are so happy that we have done so, and, really open to the work and wanting to have these new experiences. And I think that sings so true of what an amazing city this is. And especially through this crisis, it's been amazing to see so many people, so many communities really galvanize and come together and support one another. And I think you don't get that all over the country, and I do think we're really lucky to live in a city like Leeds.
What would you say, if you're pushed, what would you say is the greatest thing about the city?
Oh, that is a good question. The greatest thing about the city, I mean, the people is a bit of a cop-out answer, but I do love the people. And do you know what? I really like the weather. That might be controversial, but
really, I've never heard that one.
Yeah, I think the cold makes everyone a lot cozier, and you've always got something to talk about when the weather's bad. And I think that's what true. That's what makes people so friendly. And when the sun does come out, oh my God, everyone is so happy to see it. Everyone gets so involved. They're straight out in the street, and it's beautiful.
Nice. What would you say is something that you think is not so great about the city?
It's been interesting actually during being in lockdown, like I said, because I live in the city centre. I've obviously been looking out my windows and been really aware of the homeless community in Leeds at the moment, because they're the only people on the streets, apart from those going to do their food shop and stuff like that. And I think, there's a lot of work to be done around homelessness in the city, and especially people's relationship and reaction to it, which I know is really varied. And there are some incredible charities and people doing good work with the homeless community. But I think there's still a lot of work to be done to change people's perception of homelessness, and, that it's a choice, and how some people, would prefer to live on the streets than to live in a shelter or something similar. So, that's something that I think needs a bit of work.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And even if somebody had been a long-term resident of Leeds, would you be able to tell them about something that you'd consider to be a hidden gem?
Ooh, I love this kind of stuff. A hidden gem. I really am missing at the moment the Oriental supermarket. That's, what road's it on? I think it's on Vicar Lane.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
Oh my God, Nong Fern it's called. It's my favourite. And they have these frozen dumplings that you can buy and just cook straight at home. And I am missing this so much at the moment. So that would be my obvious, probably not so hidden, but hidden gem.
Yeah, I love those little dumplings that you get. They're just, the pork and ginger ones are just the best.
Yes, nice, good choice.
And is that a particular type of cookery that you enjoy, or type of cuisine that you enjoy?
It is, yeah. I love Asian cooking. It's my favourite.
And have you managed to get much? Have you sort of experimented with any new recipes or anything during lockdown?
Yeah, we're really lucky. Kirkgate Market has stayed open this whole time.
Yeah, you are lucky you have it right there.
It's been such a gift, and I'm so grateful that they're staying open and doing everything they can to support the market, because that's one of my favourite things about Leeds is Kirkgate Market.
Yeah.
So we've been really lucky. We've been able to cook loads of amazing stuff with some incredible produce, and I feel really grateful that we're not having to elbow too many people out the way in Sainsbury's, and that we can go kind of support those traders in the market.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. And have you sort of come across anything else, any sort of hints and tips that you could give anybody else of things they can do or get involved in during lockdown?
Do you know what? I started, and this is going to sound a bit crazy, but I've started printing off colouring sheets that you can colour in because I don't have any colouring books or anything like that. But some incredible artists have actually done some really beautiful graphic designs, kind of line drawings that you can print off and colour in at home, which I've been finding so therapeutic.
Oh, so, that's great. Yeah, I think doing anything sort of artistic in these times is, and I'm really enjoying having the time to try new things as well. It's really nice and distracting and quite calming thing to do, isn't it?
What have you been doing that's artistic?
Well, I made 2 birthday cards, one for my stepdad and one for my niece who was 16, Rosie. She was 16 just the other day.
Happy birthday, Rosie.
Yeah, she'll be pleased to hear that. So I made them both birthday cards. I didn't have to, like I could have just got cards, but I just thought I've just felt like doing something a little bit artistic, so I did that.
That's a great idea.
And then I've just had delivered today a watercolour set because I've been watching Grace and Perry's art club. I don't know if you saw that. I think it started on Monday.
Oh no, I missed that. I love Grace and Perry.
It was so good. So it's him and his wife in his studio, and he was doing portraits of her, and it was just really enjoyable. And Joe Lycett came on as a guest, like remotely, because he loves doing. I don't know if you've ever seen any of that Joe Lycett does. It's quite strange, but really good.
Amazing. Oh, I'll definitely look at that.
Yeah, so last week it was all about portraits, and then I can't remember what the theme is for this week. And the idea is that you can, at home, get involved and upload your work, and Grayson goes through quite a lot of them and talks through them, and him and the guest decide on the top 3.
Oh, that's so cute. That reminds me of Blue Peter, when they used to be like,
so lovely. And
Henry, age 9.
Yeah, the gallery. And then he's going to, all the pieces that he's chosen, he's going to, when we're out of lockdown, he's going to make an actual exhibition of it.
Oh, that is so lovely. What a great idea.
Yes, I just thought, so it just sort of gave me some inspiration, and I thought, I've been paid, and instead of spending the money, like you say, in pubs, I'm going to widen my remit a bit and try something new. So yeah,
that's a great idea. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it was very expensive. I think it was like £5 because obviously you can get really expensive ones. But I just thought, well, I'm only just starting out, so I can just have a little play with this, and it doesn't matter too much. If I
a little splash around. Great idea.
Yeah, so that's good. Do you think anything positive might come out of this whole situation when we get out of it? Is there anything you're hoping that will carry through?
I think people being as connected as they are will carry on. I mean, I don't know about you, but I get about 5 calls a day from different friends checking in and family members. And yeah, I really hope that people stay as connected as they have been now when we come out of it, because it's brilliant. It's so nice to be able to check in with all those people and not feel like, oh, I'm too busy to make a phone call, and too busy to have a 5-minute chat with whoever. So yeah, I hope that's one thing that stays after we all come out. It's not getting too busy. And also, I feel like there's a really nice permission at the moment to be a bit less than perfect. And I think that's really healthy. And it's something that I feel like we've worked ourselves up into a bit of a tiz, and we're all obsessed with being productive and, drinking 6 litres of water a day and all of these different things, all these pressures that we put on ourselves. And I feel like since lockdowns happened, people are, giving themselves a bit of a break and saying, actually, I don't feel great today. So I'm going to carry on, and that's okay. But I'm going to, take that feeling, be aware of it, and then move on from it, which I think is so important. And I really hope people continue to do that.
Yeah, it sort of feels like we've, and because I think, everything's got better and better, as in mental health is a conversation that people are having. And it feels like there's a lot of self-care for everybody at the moment. And this whole thing about, realising that we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and so you don't have to be productive every single day, and you don't have to, be able to make your own bread if you don't feel like it.
Absolutely.
And people are trying so hard, and I like the message that's been sending to people who are having to have the children at home, that you don't have to educate them all the time.
And that's so important.
Yeah, and that it's like, just like you say, we're not all perfect, and we should allow ourselves the odd day where you're just like, I just don't want to do anything productive today.
It's a pajama day. Absolutely.
I think that is good, and I hope that carries through as well. What will you be doing for the rest of your day today?
Well, it's Friday, so I'm going to have a glass of wine, because I've been trying really hard not to drink throughout the week because it's too tempting. But Friday is the one day that I'm allowed to have, a bit of a Friday feeling, have a glass of wine, and I might get a pizza in as well. I think that sounds like a bit of a... Got to distinguish the days of the week some way, don't you?
Yeah, you can go all out, can't you, today? Well, I really hope that you enjoy your glass of wine. Thank you so much for coming along and speaking to me. I will put links to everything that you've mentioned in the podcast notes that people can click through and get involved.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for having me, Hazel. It's been so nice to chat and nice to meet you.
Definitely, you too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I'm very much looking forward to getting involved in the Compass Festival when we're all free. Music this week is the gorgeous Chasing Thunder by Paradeis. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye till next time.
Everyone's out here trying to make something for themselves. Everyone's out here trying to find a piece of who they are in somebody else. But the world isn't fair. People always strive for better. Will I ever satisfy you? Will you ever see yourself with me and nobody else? Did you see how your world spiraled into mine? Unraveling now, are we gonna get it back this time? Head full of doubt and desire to dance in the warmth of your smile. I wish we could kiss and hold one another, swim under the waves and chase the thunder. Sweet memories in the flames of wonder. Oh, tell me, do you still want this too? You visit me in a dream, I scream into your chest and your shirt got all wet, so we lie out in the grass and let the sun dry my tears. But the world isn't fair, dreams they die when we awaken. Will I ever lie beside you? It's so hard for me to keep the faith when you're not here. Did you see how your world